And can we do screen sharing? Because I've got sculpture pictures that we took this.
Yeah, okay, second. Okay. Yeah, ready to go. So you
So
wanted to tell us about today?
Well, they started exercise now back here at Good Samaritan. The corporate allowed them to do that because we have such a good health record. And so today, Tuesday, now this is Wednesday, Tuesday, both Barbara and I went to an exercise class that we haven't been to in what 3 months. And so I did exercises. It was only 45 minutes, but after all, I'm almost 90 years old. And I was exhausted when I got home. I fell into bed and took a big long nap, and I was sore all day today. That's terrible. So now I'll have to exercise twice a week, and I'm going to do exercise in between the classes that are pretty intense. For me, anyway, it's a baby class of exercise, but it's very good. So then today we went on our weekly tour of a park here in Loveland. We have such beautiful parks. People come from 1,000 miles away to see our parks. And so we went today to Benson Park. And back when Chrissy was in high school, she has to smoke, and she couldn't smoke on campus or she'd get caught and get detentions. But if she walked across the street to Benson Park, that's where we were today, she could smoke, and she was out of range of the disciplinarians at the college, high school. Well, so many kids were doing that they called the police, and the police came and gave tickets to everybody, and Chrissy had to go to court. And so we went into municipal court. Well, the audience was full, and we were there. We sat a long time. They went through a lot of cases of shoplifters and this and that. And finally, they got to Chrissy's case. And the judge says, "This is out of my jurisdiction. I cannot rule on this, so I dismiss this case." So I think the police were just harassing them with the ticket. I guess it's on her record, though, forever, that she got a ticket for smoking in Benson Park, a city park.
the other thing about Benson Park.
Well, we went today to Benson Park. Well, it's changed a lot. They now have, a couple of hundred beautiful sculptures. They have a sculpture show here every year. And so the sculpture show makes money. They sell them. And then they make, with the money, they buy other sculptures that we put in our park.
So the first sculpture in the park was in 1984, and Dot Keita, who was also of Friendship Force and Myanmar fame and all of that, was on the original committee that formed the Sculpture in the Park show. She was part of the High Plains Art Council for the city of Loveland. So there's a big plaque in there that shows all of the people that were involved. But what we did today was we walked around, and if you would let me share the screen, Kevin, I'll show you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, let me do that.
That we saw, and it was beautiful. This morning it was 75, 80 degrees, and a lot of people were in the park and walking around. And
there they are.
So here are just a few of the sculptures we saw. I'll do a running count, and then you can talk while I'm doing it, okay? I should be able to make this bigger.
Yeah, right. If you draw the window a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
You had it there just a second. You put it on the edge. There we go.
Yeah. Okay. So it was just a lovely day, and there's a lot of trees and a pond and a lot of bulrushes and I was very proud of the butterfly picture I took here. There's another shot of him.
That's a
And
real butterfly, not a statue.
that yes, this is a real flower, and that is a real butterfly. And I had to wait quite a while before he came to a point where I thought he would show off his best. This is a picture of Falstaff
From Shakespeare's
Shakespeare.
play,
Yeah.
Henry VIII, Part 4.
And I thought this was a great sculpture. It has color in it. In fact, when I first looked over at this person, I thought it was a real man, but it's not. This is the lake or the pond that's part of it. I thought this was quite graceful and beautiful.
I've lived here for 30 years, and Barbara's lived here for like 60 years. And we hadn't been in this park since they filled it with sculptures. And it used to be just a very ordinary park, but it's very beautiful now.
There's a boa constrictor down there, but what I really loved about this was the tree. And there's a pavilion in the center where you can have outdoor concerts or meetings, or just go for lunch, have a picnic lunch in the park.
Now, this is something you can do even with the virus by wearing a mask, and as long as it's outdoors, and I think it's pretty safe. And there's a lot of people there, but they didn't get any close to us. I mean, we kept away from one another. It worked out nice. It's just a beautiful day. I can't understand why it's taken so long for us to go there.
That is not part of the sculpture park. That's part of a watermelon that was really a bad watermelon. I had to show it to Julie because she brought it to me. So that's the end of the sculpture show. So
yeah, so that we had a good day, and we'll do this next week at another park. And they put millions of dollars into the parks here in this town. When I first moved here, we were on a committee to fight for affordable housing. The houses cost too much, and low-income people couldn't afford to buy one. And so we went to see the mayor about what we could do about this. And he said, we had a conference with him, that's the way we worked. And he said, why don't they just move to Georgetown, which is about 15 Johnstown, just about 10 miles away. And we thought that was pretty mean. I mean, it's not much of a town. That's the whole point he was making, I realize now. Doesn't have any libraries, doesn't have any parks. And the houses are cheaper as a result. And the taxes are lower, so the monthly payments are less. So if you don't want all this extra stuff, you can go to Johnstown and have it on the cheap.
So what else did we do today? We read a book.
Barbara reads to me because I can't read anymore. And I have talking books. And I read the Charno book in which Hamilton is based. So he said that Hamilton was a bastard in the opening song, but I don't think so. I don't think Charno has said that. He was an orphan. His father ran off early, and his mother died.
Have you seen the Hamilton?
No, I haven't. Yeah.
You need to see it. It's absolutely fabulous.
Yeah.
Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote the lyrics, wrote the story from a book by Ron Chernow, and he also starred as Hamilton, and it is unbelievably wonderful. We're going to watch it again.
Yeah.
But the book we were reading today was called White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo. It was written in 2018, but is very appropriate today with all of the racial violence and, well, not just violence, but the increased discussion about the pervasiveness of the racial culture in this country. And her main point is that individuals may think they're not, individual white people like Tom and me and you, Kevin, may think we're not racist because we
don't hate them.
we don't hate Black people.
Lynch them.
We have friends who are Black. We support Black Lives Matter, but that there's systemic racism that we have grown up in, and we are a part of it. And in 150 pages in that book, she tells us on every single page why we cannot get away from the fact that we are all complicit in the racial tension that has been in this country ever since the first slaves came in 1619. So anyway, we're about halfway through that book. It's hard to read. I mean, she just gets you on every single point, like
argument,
you know,
excuse.
Our parents taught us not to be racist. All kinds of things that we say as individuals, but we can't get past the fact that we have had privileges in every step of our life that we take for granted, and Black people
Don't have those, yeah.
In fact, white people don't even think about themselves as a race. We're just people.
We're just the
But
people.
Black people are Black, and they can't get rid of that distinction.
It's a good book. Anyway, we read a lot and we watch TV and then the computer, and we stay active, even though we're sequestered. So how are you doing if you're sequestering?
Oh, well, sequestered. I did bicycle into work yesterday, and we had a meeting, but it was online, of course. And they decided that fall semester, starting in October, that they want to do face-to-face meetings, or so on campus classes. So
no online. You don't have to do a hybrid of online and face-to-face.
Well, they're waffling back and forth right now, which makes it really hard to prepare, because they're thinking, well, if you want, or not even if you want, if your department head decides, then to do it that way, and how many students will be in the classroom is still 70% capacity, and the problem is that we have conversation classes, and if we do social distancing, they have to be 6 feet apart, and so to have pair work or group work and have a conversation, if everybody's 6 feet apart, that means that everybody's yelling at each other, which which is very un-Japanese, yes. So they're still working out the details, and I imagine if they give me the option at all, I will be online, and am preparing for that. But still, things are pretty much up in the air with that.
Here too.
Yeah.
Trump wants school to open, so things get back to normal, so the women can go to work, and everybody that's involved says, no, we can't go back to work. Back to school. No, back to school in September.
Yeah, well, the latest thing about international students, he's using immigration to leverage against the university, because the international students pay full freight, full tuition, and so they're economically very, very important to many universities. But it's kind of, he's shooting himself in the foot there, because most of the universities with most of the international students are in red states like Texas and Kansas, and right up the middle thing is where most of the international students are. There's some on the coasts, yes, but not proportionally. They're much more important in the
Harvard
red
has
states.
10,000 international students, and they have said that they were going to all online classes this year, which means that those kids are not going to be able to stay in the country. It's going to be terrible. And the same with Berkeley, where my grandson Sterling is going to be a junior this fall, and he's going to stay home. At least he won't have to pay room and board. I don't see how they could possibly charge him that, but the tuition itself is horrible. But yeah, he's going to have all online classes at home.
But yeah, my friends, my counterparts in the U.S. who teach language as English as a second language, that whole industry there is kind of collapsing now because of, and it was never, it was terrible pay before, but for people to get work with all of these new immigration restrictions is a real death blow. So a lot of the people are moving out of the that possibility, that kind of profession. Teaching English is
Japan as well. Are you talking about Japan now? Or?
No, the U.S. Yeah.
U.S.
Japan, the situation here is pretty much, they've got the economy under control. There's been almost no dip in unemployment, maybe 5% or 10%. And it's almost back to normal now. And that's, one of the reasons why the university is saying, okay, in the fall, we're going to go back to normal. They really want to go back to normal, even though our study abroad programs are all canceled for the fall semester. So yeah, it's
wonderful. You have Temple University now.
That's right.
Is that ongoing? Is it operating?
No, they're closed down. And the Showa, which is Temple, is right next to our campus. They moved to right next to our campus. We built them a building, and they moved into it last year. And we do a lot of programs that are kind of to go together, some cooperative programs, so that our students can do what's called a double degree. They study at Showa, and then they go to Temple, and so they get a degree in the U.S. and they get a degree in Japan. Takes 6 years, but it is a nice program, a good transition. They're starting out to a good thing for the future, but only for rich students. 6 years is quite a bit. Even though our tuition is about $10,000 a year, maybe 12,000. So here tuition is not crazy like in the U.S.
Yeah, right. Yep, they got it. There's a big long list of things they need to do, and Trump is going to open the schools so the economy will open, and he's just fighting to do that. That's his battle. And everybody that's in the coronavirus business is saying, no, it's too early. So we shall see.
Yeah, and here in Japan, we solved the coronavirus problem. Never really had much of one. Although it's getting a little bit worse here in Tokyo. Again, there's a jump, but it's minuscule compared to the U.S., just really tiny.
Just be careful.
Yeah, be careful. We're in good shape. Colorado is one of the best states as far as the amount of it. Well, yeah. Interesting.
Right. Okay. Let's wrap it up here. Thank you very much.
Yeah.